You ever notice how in America, we glorify hustle like it's a religion? Just work harder. Grind till you make it. Sleep is for the weak. You've heard all that, right? And maybe you've lived it. Pulling extra shifts. Skipping vacations. Saying yes to overtime like it's your golden ticket to wealth. But here's the cold truth. Hard work alone doesn't make you rich. Let that sink in. Because I know, saying that out loud almost feels wrong. Like we're disrespecting our parents or grandparents who broke their backs for decades just to give us a better shot. But let's be real, if working hard was the secret, every construction worker, every nurse doing night shifts, every single mom juggling 2 jobs, they'd all be millionaires by now. And yet, they're not. Not because they're lazy. Not because they're doing something wrong. But because the system sold them an outdated formula. You're trying to build wealth with a 1990s mindset, like trying to stream Netflix on a flip phone. Think about it. You can work 60 hours a week and still be broke if your money isn't working with you. You can hustle day and night, but if your mindset says, I only earn what I sweat for, then you're stuck trading time for dollars forever. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's 38. Works in logistics. Been grinding since 22. Never really had time to think about investing or building credit. He was too busy surviving. Now he's tired, his back hurts, and every promotion he gets barely keeps up with inflation. You know someone like Marcus. Maybe you are Marcus. He's not failing because he's lazy. He's failing because no one told him this. Money isn't a reward for effort. It's a reward for strategy. And strategy requires something schools rarely teach and jobs never demand. A money mindset. The truth is, wealth doesn't come to the most exhausted. It comes to the most intentional. So if you're still clinging to the belief that one day all this hard work will magically pay off, you might want to ask yourself, what if the real flex isn't working harder, but working smarter? Look, if you grew up in America, especially in a working class or immigrant household, you were probably told something like this: if you want to make it in life, you gotta work hard. That's the only way. And let's be honest, that advice wasn't coming from a bad place. It came from love. From parents who didn't have access to wealth or knowledge, but had grit. From grandparents who sacrificed so much just to keep the lights on. They believed hard work was the only thing that could never be taken from you. But here's the thing. That mindset was built for survival, not for building wealth. See, for generations, survival was the priority. Not abundance. Not financial freedom. Just getting by. Just paying rent. Just keeping food on the table. So of course they taught us to work harder, because that's what worked for them in a world that didn't give them many other tools. They weren't taught about investing, compound interest, assets, or mindset. They were taught, show up, clock in, be grateful. And when you hear that message enough times, in school, at home, on TV, it becomes part of your identity. You start to equate worth with work. You start believing, if I'm not exhausted, I'm not doing enough. That's not a belief. That's programming. And let's be real, the American dream plays right into it. You can be anything if you just work hard enough. It sounds empowering, right? But it hides a darker side. Because when things don't work out, when you're grinding and still broke, that same belief turns into self-blame. If I'm not rich yet, maybe I'm just not working hard enough. And that guilt? That shame? It eats people alive. It makes you stay quiet. It makes you settle. It makes you think you deserve less because you're not trying hard enough, when the truth is, you've been trying too hard at the wrong game. Nobody told you the rules changed. Nobody told you that in today's world, leverage beats labor. That mindset and money skills beat muscle and hours worked. That it's not about how much you do, it's about how well you direct your energy. But again, none of this is your fault. If you've been trapped in that loop, it's not because you're broken. It's because you were trained to believe that your value comes from effort, not insight. And breaking that belief? That's not easy. It feels like betraying the people who raised you. It feels like you're being lazy or entitled just for wanting more with less suffering. But here's what I want you to hear. Honoring their sacrifice doesn't mean repeating their struggle. You don't break generational cycles by suffering silently. You break them by doing differently. By learning what they never had the chance to learn. And it starts with this. Hard work is honorable. But by itself, it's not enough. Here's the mindset shift. Money isn't evil. It's a tool. And you deserve to use it well. Sounds simple, right? But this one truth has the power to break years, as veces décadas, de sabotajum silenciosa. You've probably heard this before, but no one tells you why it matters. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. And if, deep down, you think money is dirty, if you grew up hearing rich people are greedy, or money changes people, if your parents fought over bills and you learned to associate money with stress, fear, or guilt, then let's be real, a part of you is going to keep pushing it away. Subconsciously, you'll sabotage opportunities. You'll undercharge for your work. You'll avoid looking at your bank statements. You'll delay learning about money because you're not a numbers person. Sound familiar? That's not because you're dumb or irresponsible. That's trauma. That's programming. That's mental wiring that tells you, if I get more money, I'll become someone I don't want to be. If I make too much, people won't like me. If I save too much, I'm being selfish. But let's flip the script. Money is neutral. It doesn't turn you into a villain. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money lets you give more. If you're creative, money gives you room to build. If you care about your family, money lets you protect them. So here's the first real investment you can make, and no, it's not in stocks or crypto. It's in reprogramming your money mindset. Start small. One journal prompt. One honest conversation. One decision to track where your money's going this month. Not to punish yourself, but to understand yourself. Because awareness is power. And money, when seen clearly, stops being the monster under the bed. It becomes the flashlight in your hand. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to heal smarter. So ask yourself right now, what's the story I've been telling myself about money? And is it helping me or holding me back? Rewrite that story. Even if it's messy at first. Even if you don't believe it fully yet. Because being broke is temporary. Staying broke is a mindset. Let's kill another myth real quick. You don't need to be rich to start building wealth. You just need to stop giving away your power. A maioria das pessoas acha que liberdade financeira é algo distante. Algo que só chega depois que você ganha muito, herda alguma coisa, ou you acerta na loteria. Mas isso é só mais uma ilusão vendida por sistema que lucra quando você se sente pequeno. Here's the truth. Freedom starts the moment you decide to take control. Not control of the stock market. Not control of the economy. Control of your own habits. Your thoughts. Your numbers. Let me tell you about Erica. She's 32. Works in healthcare. Not rich, not broke, just stuck. Every month felt like a guessing game. She didn't know where her money went. She avoided her bank app like it had bad news. Sound familiar? Then one day she sat down, not to make a budget, but to tell herself the truth. She pulled out her bank statements and started asking, where is my money actually going? Not with guilt. With curiosity. And what she found wasn't shocking, it was empowering. Because for the first time, she saw patterns. Habits. Emotional spending. Tiny leaks draining big dreams. That moment? That's when wealth building actually began. Because wealth isn't about how much you have. It's about how much you keep, how much you grow, and how intentional you are with what flows through your hands. Most people think they have an income problem. But often, it's a clarity problem. You can't fix what you won't face. So here's your first real move toward freedom, and it's way simpler than people make it. Know your numbers. Not in a spreadsheet you'll never open again, but in a way that connects your money to your values. Ask yourself, what do I really want my money to do for me? What's just noise? And what actually brings me peace? You'd be surprised how many people spend thousands on things that don't move the needle in their happiness, just because they never stop to ask. Freedom isn't just having more money. It's spending less energy on stress and more on purpose. So no, you don't need $1 million to start. You just need one moment of honesty. Because when you stop avoiding your money, you start directing it. And when you direct it, even in small amounts, you're no longer a victim of your finances. You're the CEO. You ever try to start a budget on a Sunday night when you're feeling inspired, only to give up by Thursday? Yeah, been there. That's the problem with most financial advice. It sounds smart on paper, but it collapses in real life. Because real life has surprises, emergencies, emotions, impulses. And here's the truth most finance gurus won't tell you. The best system is the one you can stick to on your worst day. Not your best. Not your most disciplined. But your most human day, the one where you're tired, anxious, maybe even scared. So let's talk about a simple system that works with your emotions, not against them. Step 1. Name your money. Every dollar. Every cent. It's not about restriction, it's about direction. When your money has a job, it stops wandering. It stops disappearing. And most importantly, you stop feeling like a victim of your own income. This isn't a traditional budget. It's a purpose plan. Here's how it works. Start with 3 buckets, just 3. Peace of mind, bills, safety, stability. Freedom fuel, savings, investments, future you. Joy and life, fun family moments that matter. Every time money comes in, divide it across those 3. Doesn't matter if it's $100 or $10,000. What matters is the habit, the muscle memory of directing your money with intention. And here's the emotional intelligence part. Each bucket has a role. You're not bad for spending on joy. You're not irresponsible for wanting a treat. You're just being human, and your system should honor that, not shame it. Let me be clear, discipline matters, sure. But consistency beats intensity. A plan that respects your emotional rhythms will always outperform one that demands perfection. And the beauty of this system? It grows with you. As your income increases, your percentages shift naturally, more toward investments, more toward joy, more toward legacy. You don't need to micromanage every cent forever. You just need a compass. Something that keeps you aligned. Because at the end of the day, money management isn't about spreadsheets. It's about self-respect. When you tell your money where to go, you're telling yourself, I matter. My peace matters. My future matters. And that, more than any raise or bonus, is where wealth really begins. Let's be honest. Instagram is making you broke. Not because of what you're buying, but because of what you're believing. You scroll through your feed and see people on yachts, taking luxury vacations, moving into new homes, driving cars that cost more than your college tuition. And suddenly, that quiet little voice creeps in. Am I falling behind? That's the trap. Because you're not seeing real life, you're seeing a filtered highlight reel. You don't see the credit card debt. You don't see the family money helping in the background. You don't see the stress behind the smiles. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's stage performance. And that comparison? It's expensive. Emotionally, mentally, and financially. It kills your gratitude. It messes with your motivation. It makes you feel like the progress you're making isn't good enough. Let me tell you about David. He's 41, works in IT. Over the past 3 years, he's paid off debt, started saving consistently, built an emergency fund, even dipped his toes into investing. He was proud. Until he started following a few money influencers, who made it seem like he was behind. Suddenly, he wasn't celebrating anymore, he was second-guessing. All because someone else's journey looked shinier. But here's what we forget. Comparison ignores context. You don't know how they started. You don't know who helped them. You don't know what they're hiding. And here's the truth. Financial peace doesn't run on a timeline. Your breakthrough at 45 is just as powerful as someone else's at 25. Your quiet, Steady progress is more valuable than loud, flashy debt. Comparison also kills creativity. When your eyes are glued to someone else's path, you stop noticing the opportunities on yours. You chase status symbols instead of building a life that actually feels good. So what's the fix? You change the scoreboard. Don't ask, why don't I have what they have? Ask, am I more in control today than I was last month? Do I sleep better at night knowing where my money's going? That's the win. Because wealth isn't loud. It's quiet. It's peace. It's options. So stop measuring your life with someone else's ruler. You're not behind, you're just on your timeline. And if you stay focused, you won't just build wealth. You'll build freedom that no one can fake. You ever notice how people think wealth happens in big, dramatic moments? Like winning the lottery, selling a business, hitting 6 figures overnight. But here's the truth they don't show in the movies. Wealth is boring. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It's built in quiet choices no one applauds. Waking up and saying no to Uber Eats for the 3rd night in a row. Transferring $50 into your investment account even when you're tired. Reading 1 chapter of a finance book instead of doom-scrolling TikTok. Those small, ordinary moves? That's where the magic happens. Because wealth isn't just about math. It's about momentum. Let me tell you about Jasmine. She's 29. Works as a freelance designer. For years, she thought she was bad with money because she couldn't stick to a strict budget. Every time she tried, she'd fall off and feel guilty. Then one day she flipped the script. Instead of trying to be perfect, she picked one tiny money habit to stick to for 30 days. Review her spending every Sunday for 15 minutes. That's it. No guilt. No spreadsheet madness. Just awareness. And here's what happened. Those 15 minutes gave her clarity. Clarity gave her confidence. Confidence led her to make better choices without even trying. She started building a cushion, then investing, then raising her rates. All because she stopped trying to win the whole game in one move, and started playing it consistently. That's the key. Small wins, stacked daily, become unstoppable momentum. It's not sexy. It's not viral. But it works. You don't need to make 6 figures. You need to master 6-second decisions. The decision to pause before you swipe your card. The decision to log in and check your balance. The decision to say, not today, I've got bigger plans. That's how wealth is built. And here's the best part. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up, even imperfectly, more often than not. Because discipline doesn't mean restriction. It means direction. So if you've ever felt like your small efforts didn't matter, think again. Your daily decisions are votes. And every time you make one that honors your future, you're casting a vote for the life you actually want. So, let's take a breath. We started this journey breaking down lies you've probably lived with for years. That hard work alone makes you rich. That money is evil. That you're bad with finances. That freedom's only for people who already made it. But now, you see it. It was never about working harder. It was never about being good with numbers. It was never about luck or timing or waiting for the stars to align. It was always about mindset. Because the truth is, money problems usually start in your head, not your wallet. And the first real investment? It's not in stocks or real estate. It's in reprogramming how you think about money, self-worth, and what you believe you deserve. You don't stay broke because you're lazy. You stay broke when you believe struggle is your default setting. But here's the beautiful thing. Mindsets can be unlearned. Stories can be rewritten. Futures can be redesigned. You've got the pen now. And even if the last chapter was messy, full of fear, debt, confusion, that was setup, not failure. Every decision you make now is a chance to build the version of you that owns their peace. Not just a fat bank account, but a calm nervous system. A clear plan. A life with room to breathe. So here's my challenge to you. Don't let this be just another video. Let it be the moment you stopped outsourcing your future. Pull out a notebook. Write down 3 money lies you've believed. Then write the new truths you're choosing to replace them with. Example: lie, I'm not good with money. Truth, I'm learning to lead my money like a CEO. Lie, rich people are greedy. Truth, money just amplifies who I already am. Lie, I'll never be free. Truth, freedom isn't a fantasy, it's a strategy. You with me? Because here's the final truth. Being broke is temporary. Staying broke is a mindset. And you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. So if this hit you in any way, maybe it's time to unlearn a few things. Hit subscribe. Because I'm right here, helping you shift that mindset, one thought at a time. This isn't just personal finance. This is personal freedom. Let's build it together.